question is, will my dog Fluffy go to heaven with me? He has fluffy white hair and is really nice. I would really enjoy heaven more with Fluffy. So do animals go to heaven? What happens when you die? What's the last thing you see before you die? Those kinds of issues.
As we go to this, I have experienced death myself, so I need an authority to speak on this. So I'm going to go to the scriptures and try to look to the Bible to figure out what the scriptures say about it, because I want to hear what God has to say. Trying to use that, not use just a cultural things that we would think about the afterlife sometimes, because I think we confuse things and things that we've heard around in the culture or seen on TV, and then we incorporate that into our worldview. And so we want to try to make a biblical worldview, so holding the scriptures at its center. And I think these guys are all back speaking to you from that same point as well. So to the Fluffy question, in shortest, I want to say no and maybe. Our scriptures tell us things like there's a story of a thief on the cross with Jesus, and this thief has put his faith in Jesus and asked Jesus to remember him. He goes into his kingdom, and Jesus replies to him and says, "Today you will be with me in paradise." It's an immediate thing that happens, but when we talk about this, the question even says, I think, it says heaven, right? So will Fluffy go to me, which is a concept of a spiritual place. So when we think of heaven, it's a spiritual place where God is now, where Jesus is sitting on the right hand of the Father right now is a spiritual place. And I want to say that animals don't have a spirit, right? We don't see any scriptures that are telling us that animals are spiritual creatures at all, that humans are in a different place than animals, and that we have a spirit. We are both physical and spiritual beings. And so when we talk about this death and going right to be with Jesus or God, is that's a spiritual place. And so we're not going to experience animals there. But in Revelation, in the end of all of creation right now, there is a renewed heaven and a renewed earth. We get to experience a resurrection body in eternity as well. So we are looking forward to having a life that's kind of like this one. And so this question behind it has this deep question behind it that says, okay, I really love this relationship with this animal that I have, this thing that I have here in this world, and I think eternity would be good with this thing that I will experience in eternity. So like the big underlying thing that's being asked in this question is the good stuff in my life right here and now, is it going to be like that in eternity? Is that going to happen in eternity? And I want to say the good stuff that you have and are experiencing right now, the good relationships, the good experiences, whatever they are just a shadow of what we're going to experience in the new heavens and new earth. Because as we see in Revelation 21, we see heaven and earth joined, that God will be dwelling with his people, and so therefore the giver of life, the giver of joy, the giver of all of those things, he's going to be dwelling with his people here on earth. And this life, we want to experience all of the other heartaches, all the other things. So in this question I said no, so he's not going to be in this heaven place for the meantime, but maybe in an earth, because the earth was created with animals, it was created with these other beings, so we'll have a physical life that's much like here and now, except better. And so we may have new relationships with animals that we experienced here. So there's a maybe, it might not be your animal specific, but similar type relationships that you would have.
Yeah. Anybody want to tag on to that?
I like what mine. I was talking about life with this, and she said something good. She said the guy does wasting. So that's something to keep in mind when he restores everything. Nothing that he made was